Hello everyone, it is time for DC motor. So DC motor, when you want a full circular motion and a continuous one, you need DC motor. And it is an electrical motor, and you can use this while building autonomous cars, or when you want a circular motion, when you want a movement where it is continuous and circular, you need DC motor. So basically DC motor converts again electrical energy to mechanical energy, and mechanical energy allows it to rotate. And I will show as you can see, there are different modes again. So you can see on top of the DC motor there is one switch which determines the functionality of DC motor, and you can use DC motor with coding module and also in the analog format as a robotic module. And the other switch, when you are using the DC motor in analog format, the direction of the rotation can be controlled with the other switch in the switch at the right one. So if you want a clockwise rotation, you can choose the clockwise as shown in the arrow, and if you want it to rotate counterclockwise, you need to choose the counterclockwise arrow. And as you can see, there is another label here. It means it says left, and the other one is right. So if you are using the DC motor for an autonomous car, you need to position the right one at the right side of the autonomous car and the left one at the left side of the autonomous car. I will explain how it works, but before going forward, let's try the DC motor and see it in action. And if you are using it without a coding module, make sure that you choose the switch in the analog mode, not the coding one. So I choose the analog mode, and once I connect it and give the energy, I will see it rotating. And right now it is rotating in the clockwise direction, and and then if I want to change it to other one, I change it and the direction of the rotation changes, as you can see. And when it is in analog format, you can use other inputs such as light dimmer to change the speed of rotation. As you can see, when it is maximum, it rotates. When it is minimum, it doesn't. So for example, in the autonomous car, you can use DC motor along with infrared sensor, proximity sensor, and once you connect it, as you can see right now, it doesn't rotate at all. So and as you can see, infrared is working. So once infrared detects my hand, as you can see, the rotation starts. When it doesn't detect my hand, rotation doesn't. So actually, if you use proximity sensor in mode A, right now, if infrared sensor is not seeing any obstacle behind it, it continues to rotate. But if you approach, let's say, to a wall, and infrared sensor starts to see my hand as wall, and as you can see, the DC motor stops. Right now it is working, and now it doesn't. So the proximity sensor along with DC motor is a very nice way to introduce park sensors to children. And let's hear the sound along with the movement. As you can see right now, it doesn't stop, and we hear sound, and once it stops movement, we don't hear sound as well. So in order to maybe create let's say park sensor, what we can do is we can use the inverter module. So as you can see, we have a rotation right now, and the buzzer is not working because we are using inverter. So inverter converts the signal to opposite one. So until here we have 5 volts of energy and signal 1 right now, and inverter converts the signal 1 to 0. That's why we don't hear anything from buzzer. But once I approach to proximity sensor with my hand, I start to hear buzzer, and it says, okay, I stop the wheel and we are in place, and you can close your car and park it. So it's a very nice way to introduce movement. And how it works basically, as I mentioned, with electrical motors. So inside the electric motor there are magnets, and there's copper wire called coil. So copper wire is in the shape of coils, and when you give the electricity moves inside of this copper wire, which creates magnetism. So these electrical motors used use the electromagnetic effect to change the electrical energy to mechanical energy, and it is widely used especially in the electrical cars, but in every device we can think of, maybe if there's a movement, if there's a full circular motion, it is probably a DC motor. And for the curious one, you can also give more information about magnetism. And there's a weird fact. So there are many stories about the invention of magnetism, but one of them is a shepherd named Magnus who was hiking a mountain when he realized that the nails in his shoes were sticking to the ground, and he felt a force that pulls his feet to the ground. And then it is discovered that mountain had magnetic properties. And in another story, it is told that Magnus lived in a city then called Magnesia. So there was a city called Magnesia. It is thought that the city's name was given after the discovery of Mount Spill's magnetic properties. And Mount Spill actually is in Turkey, around Manisa region. So the city Magnesia today is called Manisa. And in the real life example, as I said, like in hair dryers, in vacuum cleaners, in washing machine, in electric cars, we use electric motors. So electric motors are all around us. And I will also talk about the using the coding module in coding mode, but it will be in other video. See you in the next bit.